Welcome back. I'm Jason Schmidt, your city treasurer, and thank you so much for joining us for the third of our 5 modules in our financial literacy workshop. Today's module is going to focus on the banking sector. You can bank on it. This follows up off of our second module, which was focused around your values at work and how to think about how to invest and how to save for your future. And it's going to bridge into our fourth module, which is going to be focusing on developing a savings plan and managing debt. And so we are so excited today to have Adolfo Rua, who is our special guest from Spark Point OC, which is brought to you by United Way. So we're going to hand it off to Adolfo.
Thank you, Jason. So I want to start off with just, again, telling you about Spark Point OC. So because of Spark Point OC, we are providing these classes. So Spark Point OC is a financial coaching program. It's one-on-one. So if you want to improve your credit score, you want to reduce your debt, you want to increase your savings, you work with a financial coach and they help you make a plan. So they work with you one-on-one. You meet on a monthly basis. You can meet in person or via Zoom, whichever is your preference. If you are interested, you can scan the QR code or you can go to the link. Once you do that, you're going to submit a form. You're going to fill out your information, and then after that, they're going to connect you to the closest location to you. So we have over 9 locations in Orange County, so they're going to send you to the closest location. We also have other resources within Orange County United Way. We also have Upskill OC, so that they provide training. So if you want to get a certification on nursing, maybe an IT, or any other certification that maybe you're interested in. They work with you. Again, this is a little bit more limited because it's only for 18 to 28 years old. So it's a little bit more limited with the age, but it's a great program. They help you with, throughout the process, with your resume, interview skills, and other things like that. If you are interested in that, you can go to the link. Again, same thing. You're gonna fill out a form. Then you're gonna contact you to see if you qualify for the program. Right now we have our OC free tax prep going on. So we have over 30 locations in Orange County. If you want to make an appointment or you want to see the locations, you can go to the link. And if you want to book an appointment, you can call 211. You let them know that you are trying to make an appointment for taxes, and they're going to send you to the closest location as well. And with that 211, has anyone used or heard of 211 before? Yeah? Okay. So 211, it's a pretty much like a center for resources. So if you ever need help with utilities, transportation, mental health, or other things like that, you call 211, and then they either refer you or give you the contact information of another local agency that provides the service that you're looking for. So we'll move on to today's class. Today's class is going to be You Can Bank on It. We're going to be talking about traditional banking, so Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase. And we're also going to be talking about credit unions, so the difference between those two, and a little bit about online banking. So see which one is the best option for you, which one may benefit you the most based on your needs. Who here has a bank account or credit union? Yeah? Okay. And what's the main purpose that you use it for? Yeah?
I was recommended by my older brother.
Okay.
My situation during the time when I opened it, it was to apply for a car loan.
Okay.
Yeah, so he told me it had a lowest interest rate for getting a car loan, so I'm opening at a credit union.
Okay. No, yeah. Yeah, so usually credit unions do offer you a lower interest on loans. Yeah. Anyone else? What other services do you use with your bank account? Yeah.
Traditional bank, it's valuable as an entry point for money from different sources. If you keep enough of a balance, that's a biggie with a traditional bank.
Yeah.
You get a lot of freebies, including free international wires, and they won't charge you abroad on any of your bank credit cards, extra fees, which is big saving in travel. So it's the only way to use a traditional bank. If you can't have a minimum balance, they're not your friend.
Yeah. No, yeah. So there's a lot of positives and negatives about each of the traditional banking, also credit unions, and online banking. So we're going to see those positives and negatives, so you can decide which one is the best option for you. Well, thank you for sharing. Okay, so we're going to start with the traditional banking. So traditional banking, they're for profit, so they make money on the money that you deposit. They loan that money to other people, and again, they're for profit. So the good thing about traditional banks is that they are insured by the FDIC. So if anything happens to the bank, your money is protected. So you can be, safe and calm that nothing's going to happen to your money. You're going to get the money back. And the main accounts that most people use are checking and savings accounts. So for checkings, it's the daily transactions that we do. We can also do direct deposit of our paycheck. We can transfer to other accounts. But the only downside is that they do have a little more fees. So they do have more monthly fees, like we were mentioning for the minimum balance. To open an account also is a little bit more expensive. So we do have to keep that in mind as well. The savings account, so it's used to save money, either for emergencies or for any goals that you may have. And it does gain a little interest. With traditional banking, it's only 0.01%. So it doesn't grow as much with a traditional bank. And it does have limits with the withdrawals that you can do. So usually it's only 6 per month, and after that you have to wait for the following month. And it works best if you have a short-term, sometimes for long-term goals. But like I mentioned, it doesn't really give you a lot of interest. So maybe for the long term, it's not going to be the best option for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With this new tendency to use Zelle and Venmo and that kind of thing, is the traditional checking account going to be changing or going away, or?
No, with like Zelle and things like that, it's mostly to send money to other people. So it's just a service that's added to your banking. So even with a credit union, you can have Zelle as well. So some credit unions also offer that service. So it's just a service that's included. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a question. You skipped over this a little fast, and I didn't hear exactly what you said. That for traditional banks, limits on withdrawals
with the savings account.
with the savings account.
Correct. Yes.
Do they ever have limits on withdrawals from checking?
From checking, it's usually the amount. So they do have a limit. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So usually with check-ins, they have an amount of how much you can withdraw on ATMs. If you go in person.
I didn't mean by ATM. I just meant
Okay.
if you went in and said, I want this much.
Usually if you go inside, no, there's no limit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what about ATMs? Isn't there a limit?
Yes, for ATMs, there is a limit, and it depends on your bank and also on you. So sometimes it's $200 to $500, the limit that you have, but you can also call your bank to increase that amount. So you do have the option of increasing that amount. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on to credit cards. So I think for the most part, I think most of us have a credit card. It's a way that we can pay now. We can buy now, pay later. It does help us build up our credit if we use it wisely. And we do want to pay off the full balance at the end of the month, so that way we don't accrue any interest. Yes, because interest does make us fall behind, and it could be difficult to get out of that cycle, get out of that debt. There's usually high interest rates. So again, it does make us be in a trap that we can't pay it off if we are only making the minimum payment. So if possible, try to make the full payment. If we can't do that, try to make a little bit more of the minimum payment, because if we continue making the minimum payment, most of that payment is going to interest. It's not really going to the principal, to the balance that we have left over. And then we have the certificate of deposits. Has anyone here used a certificate of deposits? You? Okay. How was your experience with?
Well, it's a lot better than letting your money sit there and not earn any interest while they get to use it.
Yeah.
New money, yeah. It's usually posted behind the teller window. You'll see things on the. We've got some great CD rates for new money. So it's true.
Yeah.
They do. So it's worth looking into every time you go into your bank if you're expecting new money coming.
Yeah. So as they were mentioning, you do have to keep your money saved for a certain amount of time. It could be a few months, it could be a year, depending on the time frame that you selected. It usually does pay you a higher interest than savings accounts. It could be 3.4, depending on the bank. The only thing, again, is if you take it out before the deadline, before the time frame that you selected, there is a fee that you have to pay. Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Okay.
bankrate.com will show you a lot of rates, different banks and organizations.
Yeah.
So you can choose. You see something that's close to 5% nowadays, pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So that's another way of being self-motivated. You can look at bankrate.com and make a decision that way too.
No, yeah. Yeah, so there's different ways that you can make your selection of the services that you want. You can also use NerdWallet. That's another option that you can use. With certificate of deposits with traditional banking, there's a higher starting balance. So it could be $500 that you have to start with for the certificate of deposit. So you do have to check that to see if you're able to open up a certificate of deposit account. Moving into the ATMs, so for traditional banks, wherever we go, we usually see Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America. If we go to a different city, different county, different state, we're going to see the ATMs. So that's a good thing about traditional banking, is that we have access to those type of services anywhere we go. We do have to be careful though, just because if we use an ATM that's not from that network, if it's not from Wells Fargo, they're going to charge us a fee. So I know that ATMs charge a $3 fee just to use that ATM, but Wells Fargo is going to charge you an additional fee just because you didn't use their ATM. So we do want to be careful with that. If possible, let's try to use the ATMs that are within the network. And as I was mentioning earlier, there is a limit of how much you can take out. Usually it's $200 to $500, but you do have the option of calling and letting them know that you want to increase that amount. And whenever you're going to use an ATM, you do want to be careful. You don't want to go when it's dark. You don't want to go if it's isolated. You want to go when there's people, just because we don't want to risk our safety and we don't want to risk being robbed in public as well. So. And some of the banking fees that traditional banks have is a monthly service. Usually it's about $5 to $15 per month. There are ways to waive this fee. Usually it's if you have direct deposit, they waive that fee. We have the overdraft fee, that's $25 to $35 per transaction. So if you have payments that are coming up and you don't have enough money, the bank is going to make those payments. And let's say you had 2 payments for that day. They're going to charge you $25 per transaction. So that's going to be $50 they're going to be charging you that day. So we do want to be careful with that. We want to make sure that we have enough money. If we know we're not going to have enough money, we should call whoever's, let's say it's for the electricity, we should call the company to let them know if they can give us more time. I know for the most part, they do give you a grace period. Usually it's 1 day, 24 hours to 3 days. So if we are able to, let's put the money in there just so we can avoid that fee. And then I mentioned the ATM fee, and they do have the minimum balance fee. So we want to ask if there's a type of account that we can have without having to pay that minimum fee. Sometimes they have different type of accounts. They have student accounts. They have low-income accounts, they have senior citizens accounts. So we have to ask what type of accounts they have to see if we're able to avoid some of these fees that they have. So we're going to move on into talking about the credit unions. So I know some people said that they have a credit union. What do you like about your credit union? Yeah. Yeah.
They have other services. We have a notary in ours.
Okay.
Set up at a much reduced rate, and their rates are really good, and they seem to be very accommodating.
No, yeah. Anyone else wants to share what they like about their credit? Yeah.
I can get my credit cards through my credit union with fees.
Yeah. No, yeah. So yeah, that's a plus that you have that option. Yeah. Anyone else wants to share? Yeah.
My credit union offers the service of someone who will function as your financial planner for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So the fiduciary, but I guess the banks can't really do that because, of course, they're
Yeah. So yeah.
but you can get financial planning services from some.
Yeah, some credit unions do offer financial planning. They sit with you one-on-one. They talk about your goals and what you want to accomplish. So yeah, that's a plus of the credit unions as well. So credit unions, they're with the compared to the traditional banking, they're for nonprofit. So members, it's member based. Usually members are owners of the credit union. They focus more on community needs. So again, they do try to help you a little bit more. They do have those financial coaching depending on the credit union. And similar to the traditional banking, they are also protected. So they are protected by the NCUA. Same thing, if something happens to the credit union, your money is protected as well.
So that's like CFDIC?
Correct. Yeah, it's just for the credit unions. Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, they do have different services. So like they mentioned, if you want to maybe open up a 401k, they can maybe guide you into which one may be the best option for you. And again, they do offer the checking and savings account. The only difference is that usually it's lower or no monthly fees. So compared to the traditional banking, credit unions they have a lower monthly fee or no monthly fee. Savings, they do tend to have a higher interest rate. So as I mentioned, traditional banking, banks, they have 0.01%. With credit unions, it's not that much higher, but it's a little bit higher. It's 0.07% to 0.1%. So again, it's not that much higher, but it's a little bit better than the traditional banking. And it's easier to qualify for accounts, as you were mentioning. Once you have a credit union, it's easier to open up other accounts as well, just because you have the relationship with them. And with credit cards and loans, similar thing. They do have lower interest rates than traditional banking. So if you get a credit card with a credit union, maybe you have a 15%, 20% interest rate. Yeah, so it's really good. With the traditional banking, usually they give you 25% or more. I've seen some people that have gotten a 30% interest rate. So that's really, really high. Again, credit unions do tend to want to help you a little bit more. So they do offer lower interest. Same thing with loans. With the credit union, they may give you a 13% interest rate. With a traditional bank, they may give you a 20%. We do want to make those comparisons and see which one is the best option for us, which one is going to save us money, because that's what we want. We want to save money with banks. We don't want to pay the banks. And again, certificate of deposits, credit unions also offer that, but they often have a better interest rate than the traditional banks. And with credit unions, they also have a lower balance that you can start with your certificate of deposit. So instead of maybe being $500, it's $250 with the credit union. So it does have a lower balance. One of the biggest differences is with the ATMs. So with credit unions, if you go to a different county, if you go to a different state, you may not be able to find an ATM with your credit union. The good thing about the credit unions is that they're connected. So they do have a network. So you are able to use, let's say that I have Schools First, I'm able to use the Orange County Credit Union ATM. So that's the positive about the credit unions, is that they're connected and you're able to use that with no fee. So if you go to a different city, if you go to a different county, you may be able to use an ATM from another credit union. And with credit unions, you do have to join. So there's different ways that you are able to join the credit union. Some of those credit unions are employee-based. So if you work with a certain company, you are able to open up an account with them. Sometimes it's the community based on the city that you are living in. So I know that Santa Ana has a credit union for Santa Ana residents or people that work in Santa Ana. We also have Orange County Credit Union. So that's for anyone that's in Orange County. And then we have Schools First. That's for people that work in schools or are students in either the college or university. For Schools First, I know a lot of people do want to join that because they do offer great benefits. Let's say that you are not in school, you don't work in a school. If you have a family member that's closely related to you, you may be able to open up an account. So let's say that your son is going to college and they open up a Schools First account. you may be able to open up an account just because you have that relationship with them.
Do they get the same benefits?
Yes, you should be able to get the same benefits. I know that there's some services that you may not be able to use just because it's specific for either employees or for students. But for the most part, you have the same services. And compared to the traditional banking with credit unions, you can open up an account with $5 to $25 compared to like maybe $100 or $150. So it's more accessible to people. That you don't have to have a lot of money to start an account. And I provided this table to you, so it does give you that information on the handout that I provided. It's just some key differences between credit unions, traditional banking, and also online banking. And what's the best situation for banks? So who should have a traditional bank? So usually if people travel frequently, if they go to different states, different cities, either because of work or they just like to travel, maybe a traditional bank may be best for them just because, again, they're going to be able to access those banks wherever they go. Maybe they want to use other services, better services that maybe the credit unions don't provide, just because usually traditional banks do offer more services than credit unions. Also, for the most part, traditional banks do invest a little bit more money on their mobile banking. So the mobile app may work better with traditional banks. And best situation for credit unions, if we want to have lower fees, we want to have better saving rates. Maybe we want to start with a loan, a credit, or credit card. Again, credit unions are going to offer a lower interest rate with those. And again, for the most part, some credit unions do have that close relationship with you. So if you have a question, if you have a goal in mind, they can sit with you and work with you on that goal. Any questions on either credit unions or traditional banks? Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, since you go to schools first, is that you can go to ATMs that are in every 7-Eleven, I think it is. They're not operated by 7-Eleven, but they have an ATM that you can use for schools first. So.
Yeah, I know.
In California.
No, yeah. I've seen that some locations do have a schools first ATM, so they are in different places. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. So we're going to move into online banking. So with online banking, everything's online. You are able to access your account 24/7. Again, it's either going to be through the internet or a mobile app. So some of the examples, it's like Chime, like Capital One. They often have no branches. It's all online. The only exception is Capital One, that they have a cafe in Irvine. So you are able to use some services in there, but it's limited. So again, for the most part, everything's online. So they do offer the same services as the traditional banks, credit unions with the checkings and savings, credit cards, and personal loans. The difference is that for the most part, the checking accounts are going to be free. So you're not going to have to pay anything for that. With their savings, they usually also offer a higher interest rate. They have the high yield savings accounts that offer like a 3.4 interest rate. So they do offer a little bit more on that. So maybe that's a better option for you as well. And secure credit cards, traditional banks do provide that as well, but that's for someone that either wants to start their credit history or someone that wants to rebuild their credit history. So it's a way for them to make a deposit. Let's say it's $500. $500 is going to be their credit limit. After a year or so, if they had a good history, the bank may open up an account for them. So they're going to open up a credit card with the bank. It's no longer going to be the deposit. It's going to be money from the bank. So that's a positive about the secure credit card, that we show the banks that we know how to manage the credit card. So some advantages and disadvantages of online banking. Advantages is that they have low fees or no fees. With their savings accounts, they do have a higher interest rate. and their applications are usually easy to use. The cons is that there's no branches, so if we like to go in person, we like to talk to people, they don't have that option. So everything's online. Maybe if we have a question, we may have to call via phone or send emails or do the chat option as well. Cash deposits are a little bit more difficult, but we do have that option. So I don't know if anyone has seen the access point ATMs. Usually they're in stores. You are able to use those ATMs. So that's an option that you have as well, the access point ATMs. Yeah, so for all of the services that we're trying to get, we do have to make sure that they are protected, yes, because sometimes, like they mentioned, they advertise services, but they're not protected by the FDIC or the NCUA. So we do.
The moral of the story is don't put your money all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you better have some emergency money
Yeah.
accessible somewhere else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So now that we talked about traditional banks, credit unions, and online banks, so we do want to make sure that we know what fees they're going to charge. So if we want to open up an account, we want to have the fees in mind. Just because, again, we don't want to pay a lot of fees. We want to pay the lowest we can. How easy is it to access your money? Going back to that, do we have ATMs available? Is there different ways that we are able to take out our money, transfer our money? What are those ways that we can access our money? Do they have good customer service? I know for the most part, usually credit unions do have a better customer service compared to traditional banking, just because, again, they're just trying to get people in and out of the bank. Do they help you save money or do they cost you money? As I mentioned before, we want to pay less, and we don't want to pay the bank. We want the bank to pay us. So we want to have a higher interest on our savings. We want to have a lower interest on loans, on credit cards, again, because we want the bank to be paying us, not the other way around. And sometimes, maybe in the past, we didn't have a good history with our account, and maybe it got closed. And there's different reasons why an account might have gotten closed. But usually when this happens, we do have the right to access that report to make sure that everything's correct. And if everything's correct, we know that the reason why the account got closed is right. It may be a little bit difficult to open an account with another bank. Let's say that we had Wells Fargo and we're trying to go to Chase. They may not let us open up an account. So what we can do is that we can either try an online bank, or we can try to see if they have a second chance account. So usually the second chance accounts, they do let you open up an account. You have limited services, but it's just for you to start again to show that you know how to manage your account. I know for the most part everyone has an account already, but usually you need your ID, your social security number or ITIN, proof of address, and an opening deposit. And we do want to ask about the different accounts that they have. Like I mentioned, sometimes they do have a student account, they do have senior citizen account, they have low income accounts. So we want to make sure that they are providing the lowest fees, the account with the lowest fees. We want to make sure that we have the account with the lowest fees so we save money as well. So real life scenarios, so which option is the best for these different people? So Maria lives paycheck to paycheck and wants to buy a used car. For her, what type of bank would be the best option?
Credit union.
Credit union, yeah. Why credit union? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, better rates. Usually they have lower fees as well for your checking accounts. Then we have Jorge works 2 jobs and doesn't have time to visit a branch. Online? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so online bank would be the best option. I know some people have mentioned to me that nowadays, even traditional banks and credit unions offer the same services online. But the main difference with online banking, again, is that they have lower fees or they have no fees and the interest rates are usually higher. So if I want to open up an account with lower fees, online banking is going to be the best option on this case. Luis's job requires him to travel between cities. What would be the best option for him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, like I mentioned, there's you are able to access ATMs, the branches on different cities, different counties, different states. Okay. So that's all that I have for today. So for the next class, we're going to be talking about savings and managing debt. It's going to be March 11, same location, same time. So thank you.